This is Nationwide on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. I am Lami Ali. You're welcome. Nigerians have queued up at ATMs expecting the release of the old 200 Naira notes as directed by President Muhammadu Buhari. While that is yet to happen, the Central Bank of Nigeria has directed banks to receive old 500 and 1,000 Naira notes below the sum of 500,000 Naira as deposits. Details of this report will come to you subsequently. Now, the Central Bank of Nigeria has been urged to create desk officers to perpetually review identified challenges with the implementation of the Naira swap policy, as well as keeping Nigerians informed. This, an expert on Good Morning Nigeria believes, will douse the frustrations of some Nigerians in accessing cash withdrawals. Lydia Sampson brings us the details.
The mixed reaction to the presidential approval for the old 200 notes to continue has legal tender till 10th April. Along with increased circulation of the new Naira notes, the guests say will ease the tension of the people.
This is Central Bank of Nigeria and must be responsible to Nigerians, and then must be able to speak to our frustration so that we know that if we are calm, we know, okay, we have 2 weeks to make this sacrifice.
Ironically, the situation in Benin, Edo State, had earlier been compounded with the protests and destruction of banks and POS operations. NTA correspondents gave a first-hand assessment of challenges in Benin City and FCT.
For now, the city is calm. Yesterday, the police was on a show of force around the city, and it has said it will not tolerate any act of violence. And the governor has also told the police officers the police to increase operatives around the banking facilities to keep safe.
Some were not so happy because they're like, okay, they've already gone through the stress and hurdles of not having cash and all that. Mr. President would have left it the way it is, so that it's just a phase that is, will phase off very soon. While some were indifferent.
They are optimistic that as more businesses continue to adapt to the cashless policy, the situation will continue to improve. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
As stipulated by the Petroleum Industry Act, the NNPC has legally performed a final cutover to NNPC Limited 18 months after. This means the company is profit-driven by law to deliver on its mandate. That report is still being packaged, and we shall bring it to you in the course of the bulletin. Nigeria's political bigwigs should encourage behavior devoid of violence to allow the country's democracy grow. APC presidential candidate Bola Tinubu said this during his courtesy call on Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State before the APC presidential and governorship campaign rally in Ibadan. Musbau Namhab reports.
After an initial postponement, the APC presidential campaign train was finally in the pace-setter state to convince the more than 3.2 million registered voters here for support. The rally turned out to be a carnival as party loyalists gave an expression to their optimism with their turnout, welcoming their presidential candidate at the iconic Makbo Square. The long wait was not in vain as Asiwaju presented the APC governorship candidate in Oyo State, Teslim Folarin, with enthusiastic supporters confident that the party is in for good show at the polls next week.
His Excellency, Asiwaju.
The APC presidential candidate took his mission to Governor Seyi Makinde on courtesy call, calling for peace across political divides.
It's about time we look at politics from different prisms and remove all antagonistic behaviors from the surface of it.
The governor, a member of a PDP G5, commented on the stand of his group.
The G5 and the Integrity Group were saying that, look, if we have to choose between the unity of this country and our political aspirations, we will choose the unity of this country. If the country does not survive, then we don't have, the political parties will fade away.
The Tinubu Shetima campaign team also had a meeting with traditional rulers from across the southwest. Oyo State is one that got away from the APC last time, and so the party will hope to recover it in the next context. From Ibadan, Musbao and Wahab, NTA News.
Now, the governing All Progressives Congress has commenced the process of off-cycle governorship elections in Kogi, Bayelsa and Imo states. National Organizing Secretary of APC, Suleiman Mohammed Argungu, said a schedule of activities and timetable have been released for the governorship elections in the 3 affected states, and that sales of expression of interest and nomination forms commenced on 15 February 2023 and will end on the 22nd of February. The schedule also indicates that primary election for aspirants who pass the screening exercise will hold on Monday, 10th April 2023. Expression of interest form for the governorship election goes for 10 million naira, while the nomination form goes for 40 million naira. Meanwhile, women and persons living with disabilities are to purchase only the expression of interest form, which is 10 million naira, while youth between the age of 25 to 40 are to pay 25 million naira as 50% of the total cost of the forms. The presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has continued to garner more support with few days to the presidential election. This time around, the Arewa New Nigeria stands tall behind the APC presidential candidate with the track record of his achievements as governor of Lagos State.
Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu's strength of political character stands out. He sticks to where his ideology takes him. He has always identified with progressive politics.
Thus, if given the opportunity, Bola Tinubu will excel beyond expectations. And the Allied People's Movement, APM, has adopted the presidential and vice presidential candidates of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Atiku Abubakar and Governor Ifeanyi Ukowa for the 25th February 2023 presidential election. A statement from the party's national chairman, Yusuf Muhammad Antali, indicates thus, this decision was reached as the party's National Executive Committee meeting. Antele said after evaluating the democratic credentials of Atiku Abubakar and Governor Ifeanyi Ukowa, the Allied People's Movement considers it appropriate to adopt them for presidents and vice presidents in the forthcoming general election.
One of the party is the National Executive Committee, and the National Executive Committee sat and took decision that what is happening out of the 18 registered political parties and the candidate contesting is only one person that will emerge the president. You cannot have 2 presidents. APM is egalitarian in nature. It is not a do or die thing.
The party will, however, contest other elective positions, including the Senate, House of Representatives, Governorship and State House of Assembly seats. Now, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, in Rivers State says it has commenced distribution of non-sensitive materials to the 23 local government areas of the state, preparatory to the conduct of the presidential and National Assembly elections. Kingsley Hamajiri, who was at the INEC media briefing, brings us the details.
INEC at a news briefing in Port Harcourt after an interagency consultative committee meeting on election security says the commission has commenced movement of non-sensitive electoral materials to the various local government areas. This comes also after it has equally trained ad hoc personnel and has commenced the charging of BVAS machines.
INEC and all security agencies are working assiduously to ensure the smooth conduct of these general elections. As a commission, we have commenced the movement of non-sensitive materials to the local government areas in the states. Configuration and charging of all the BVAS is ongoing.
The Commission said pre-inspection of sensitive materials will take place next week.
I also want to use this opportunity for this medium to call on all the stakeholders to conduct themselves in a manner that will not go contrary to the provisions of the law guiding conduct of election in Nigeria.
I want to assure you that before the election day, there will be no security threat.
The Nigerian police, in reaction to the incident of pre-election violence in Rivers State during the campaign, said the command has arrested some suspects who will be facing prosecution. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
To the earlier promoted report where we told you that Nigerians have queued up at ATMs expecting the release of the old 200 Naira notes as directed by President Muhammadu Buhari. While that is yet to happen, the Central Bank of Nigeria has directed banks to receive old 500 and 1,000 Naira notes below the sum of 500,000 Naira as deposits. Let's hear more from Bosede Abel, who has been monitoring the situation.
Recall that President Muhammadu Buhari just this Thursday approved that the Central Bank of Nigeria reintroduced the old 200 Naira notes to ease the heightened tensions and apprehensions in the nation in response to public outcry. But as I speak, the old notes are yet to be available at automated teller machines within Abuja metropolis.
The situation is still as bad as before because the old 200 Naira notes had been taken away from the society. So where are the banks to bring it back? The banks are not opening. Virtually all the banks in this area, about 10 banks in this area, and none of them is actually open.
I went to Gariki said I should come back to this place. Since then I have been here. Some more tough men will come, they will make or they will enter inside, I collect money and go. And look at me with my baby, it's 8 o'clock. Now they are telling me that there's no money again.
Money is like almost like a spiritual thing now. Now I just enter the bank. They don't do any transaction that involve money. Now the only thing you do, you have to check your account. Because I came to check my account to know somebody sent me money. They don't even have network. Yesterday, 2 people sent me money. I didn't find the money. There was no alert. I don't know whether they are doing it intentional because now they say we should be doing internet banking. Now they don't have service.
I've not been able to access the 200, even all the money, both 200 or new notes. I've not been able to access it.
The old 200 Naira, I've never seen it again. I don't know where it is. And inside the bank now, if you enter the bank, they will say there's no money. That CBN did not give them money to give to us.
I don't know what is really happening. The CBN that's supposed to go around to monitor, to see that the banks comply, I don't think they are doing their job. So I'm throwing back the question to them. Who is speaking the truth?
After all said and done, Nigerians are asking, where are the 200 Naira old notes? That's the situation report here in Abuja. I am Bosede Abel, NTA News.
Thank you for that update, Bosede. We join Adeola in Lagos for the next set of reports. Good to see you, Adeola.
Good to see you too, Lami. Normalcy has returned to Mile 12, K2 and Ojota areas of Lagos after an early morning unrest. Kehinde Adebisi has an update on the situation.
Lagos residents living around Ikorodu, Mile 12, K2 and Ojota area of Lagos woke up to a disturbing scenario as vehicles were hurriedly turned back due to the activities of hoodlums who took laws into their own hands. Within a short period of time, security agencies were deployed to the scene to restore sanity. Lagos State Police Public Relations Officer Benjamin Udeyi, who confirmed the situation, says there is free movement of people around these areas now, and citizens have no reason to fear.
What is primary to us is to ensure that there is no breakdown of law and order, which we have ensured. So we've commenced investigation into what really transpired, what led to this. So as I speak to you, I can't give a confirmation of what all of this is about, but we have ensured that there is peace and order everywhere.
While urging Lagos residents to be vigilant, he gave assurance of safety that men of the Nigerian Police Force are fully on ground to monitor the situation. In Lagos, Kende Adebisi, NTA News.
Prayer is one powerful tool that believers use to communicate to their Creator, to set their path straight when in need and distress. As the race to the February presidential election nears its climax, members of Ansarudin Society of Nigeria in Lagos are seeking the face of Allah for mercy and a peaceful, credible and violent-free election. Lynn Leneke report.
There can be no better time to ask for guidance, direction, peace and harmony from God than now, when Nigerians are getting set to elect new leadership who will steer the affairs of government at various levels for the next 4 years. This gathering by Ansarudin Society of Nigeria is targeted at praying against forces that may manipulate the election. National Missioner of the Society, Abdulrahman Ahmed, says Nigeria has experienced many challenges, adding that it was the prayers of the faithful that had kept the country together. He prayed for leaders that will use public funds for public good.
And the fact that we need to address those challenges head on, we need to pray for our leaders, we need to pray for ourselves, we need to pray for a peaceful election, we need to pray for a stable country.
Chairman APC Campaign Committee, Lagos State, Senator Ganiu Olarewaju Solomon and other speakers used the occasion to call on Nigerians to come out to perform their civic responsibilities.
They should not give any room for violence or for anything that can cause violence. So in doing that, you've fulfilled some part of what you are enshrined to do in any religion.
There is a lot of hope after February, and I will employ the citizen to come.
We always enjoin our people, irrespective of their busy schedule, to ensure that on the day of elections, they are there to cast their vote.
Prayer was also said for Allah's protection and victory at the polls for the APC presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who has been a pillar of support to the Ansarudin Society for many years. In Lagos, Lynn Leneke, NTA News.
Do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on the screen for updates. Nationwide continues with Felicia in Jos. After this break, to stay on.
Tuna, Bisi, Akman, Unduka, how will I want to do on election day? On election day, I go take my PVC. When I reach where I vote to, I broom I go put my hand over Tinubu. On election day, I go take my PVC. When I reach where I vote to, I broom I go put my hand over Tinubu.
People of Nigeria, make we all come out on election day and vote Asiwaju Bola Tinubu as president. Make Nigeria for better. Make you put your hand for APC, the party where show broom. Not forget oh, now broom you go put your hand in. Bam!
On election day, I go take my PVC. When I reach where I vote to, I broom I go put my hand over Tinubu.
Weekend File, your Saturday delight, going to places from the obscure to the hinterland and cities, bringing you development stories and perspectives, connecting the people with government and stakeholders on critical issues of our national life.
We are live in Abuja.
It's 9 p.m. every Saturday on the network service of the NTA. Weekend File, you can't afford to miss it.
Our pastors, our imams, in every church, in every mosque, please realize that in the course of praying for peaceful and transparent elections, we all have duties beyond prayers. If we want a stable society before, during, and after the elections, what should you be saying to those that worship with you? All Sundays and all Fridays, you are saddled with the responsibility of bringing up good generations. It is therefore your duty to both man and God to ensure peace all the time, no matter about elections alone. People talk to people and people listen. Talk to your followers. Make them listen to ensure peaceful 2023 elections. This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
He might get another chance now. Pulisic. And it's 2-0.
This one cleared out for Romeo Lavia.
The ball to the far post. Surely it's there. It is there.
It's a lovely layoff. It's Ward-Prowse. And it's quite superb.
From Pulisic towards Havertz. A little bit of improvisation. And it falls for Raheem Sterling in the right place.
SportyBet sponsors coverage of the English Premier League. SportyBet sponsors coverage of the Italian Serie A.
Still on to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. Welcome to Jos. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says no voter will be allowed to vote with printouts during the forthcoming general elections. The supervising national commissioner in charge of North Central, Mohammed Haruna Kudu, stated this in Jos during a stakeholders meeting on level of preparations for the 2023 general elections. Ijoma Ozemena has details.
The stakeholders' engagement provides the platform to address critical areas of concern and to build confidence on the electoral process ahead of the 2023 general elections. The INEC Supervising National Commissioner in charge of North Central, Mohammed Haruna Kudu, emphasized the need for political parties and Nigerians to ensure they know their polling units in view of the recent adjustments by the Commission in respect to units with no voters registration. In Plateau State, there are 6 polling units in 4 local governments where voting will not take place due to the recent adjustment of polling units without voters registration. He further urged political parties to ensure their agents are registered, stressing that without INEC tags, they will not gain entry into collation centers. INEC Resident Electoral Commissioner, Plateau State, Oliver Tesu, says the Commission has just taken delivery of more than 300,000 PVCs. Of those are registered this year, as well as cases of transfers and replacement with non-sensitive materials being deployed. In Jos, Ijoma Ozemena, NTA News.
And away from electoral matters to healthcare, the provision of high-quality care for children is a critical global health challenge affected by many factors. Parental ignorance and inadequate healthcare financing were some of the factors discussed by Lokfa Chirdang, a professor of surgery and consultant pediatric, during the 102nd inaugural lecture of the University of Jos. Saadatu Mohammed Kafa reports.
The lecture, titled Surgical Service for the Small, the Smaller and the Smallest, Existing Challenges and Strategies for Improving in Low-Resource Settings, Professor Lothar Bali-Chedin explained that surgical care, especially for children in low and middle-income countries, is critical in preventing morbidity and mortality.
Surgical diseases in children. The government, a number of people, we neglect it, but we should know that it is cost-effective.
The consultant pediatrician said most existing challenges of surgical service in children can be noticed and therefore charge parents and caregivers on timely presentation and treatment of surgical problems, as it is essential for the child's normal development and functional life at adulthood. Vice Chancellor of University of Jos, who was represented by the Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic, Professor Rahila Gowan, commended the lecture series and said Every health problem, especially pediatrics, is directly related to the issue of governance and development, and called on government to pay attention to the issues of healthcare, education and agriculture to drive the economy. The lecture concluded that there are several strategies available to improve the provision of surgical service for children, which, if given due diligence by all stakeholders, can have the same results as those in high-income settings. In Jos, Saadat Muhammad Kafa, NTA News.
Those are the reports from Jos. It's back to Lami in Abuja for more on Nationwide.
Thank you, Felicia. The Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Professor Isa Pantami, has officially presented checks worth thousands of dollars to the 2 digital technology startups that emerged global winners at the just concluded 2023 Leap Technology Exhibition in Saudi Arabia. Chimdima Ndubusi reports.
Heads held high, shoulders squared, Ugochukwu and Ibrahim are here to receive their conquest, $150,000 each, and commendation letters from the federal government after swimming the international digital technology waters and coming out tops. Ugochukwu's solution that allows any individual to become an internet service provider gave him the Leap into New Worlds Awards. Ibrahim's mobile platform that connects rural smallholder farmers in Africa got him the Leap Technology for Humanity Award.
Before now, it wasn't possible. You only had big telecommunications companies have that ability, but now we've been able to bring down, miniaturize that technology, build it into small devices that gives people the capability to share and distribute internet anywhere they go. And it works with any existing internet service provider, including the new one that just came into Nigeria, Starlink.
A smallholder farmer in the communities that we operate, if he needs land preparation equipment, all he needs to do is to work to his community agent. And in the past 2 years, we've been able to harvest over 4,600 hectares, which has saved over 13 million kilograms of grains that could have fed 43 million people. It is saving food waste and food loss. It is improving the productivity of our smallholder farmers.
The Minister of Communications and Digital Economy visualizes a time when top tech giants will emanate from Nigeria.
To have 6 winners from more than 30 countries at the last stage of the semi-final, and for Nigeria to be blessed with 2 winners, this is really incredible. Your effort promotes the image of Nigeria at that global stage.
174,000 organizations participated. 30 reached semi-finals. In Abuja, Chimdima Ndubusi, NTA News.
The National Population Commission will not only deliver a digital enumeration, but a reliable and credible census that will stand the test of time. National Coordinator, Data Quality of the Commission, Foluke Adebayo, gave the assurance at a lunchtime seminar organized by the Bureau of Public Service Reforms in Abuja. Adebola Brooklyn has the reports.
Nigeria is endowed with wealth of human capital, which economic watchers say without effective management might not experience the desired demographic dividend. This lunchtime seminar, with focus on national development and the imperative of 2023 population and housing census, is to further examine the modality and benefits inherent in conducting a quality 2023 population and housing census.
Our application works offline, so when they are working in the field, you can work offline, and then we now have marked proximity analysis of localities that are close to those areas where we don't have internet connectivity, so that they can move to those localities to sync their data online.
We are planning to have a very clear and transparent census that we work with all the organizations that are stakeholders that would help this process. We have to think about people that are disabled,
For the Director General, BPSR, Dasuki Ibrahim Rabi, safety and security of data is paramount.
Because recent events have indicated a lot of attempts have been made to break into server bases of ministries, departments, and agencies of government, and even some banks. So we encourage them to be very careful.
The agency says the sensors will involve data capturing and database management using CS Pro, an open source software developed by the US Census Bureau, with animated presentations of user-friendly reports. Adebola, Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
The Defence Headquarters has reminded personnel to be professional in their conduct and see the civilian population as key partners in securing the nation. The Chief of Defence Staff, General Loki Rabo, gave the advice as the public presentation of a book, Fundamentals of Military Laws and Practice.
The armed forces is anchored on discipline, and so the actions or inactions of our personnel, is from the point of view that you can't have an effective military without discipline, and this law codifies what will enable us to be disciplined, and I'm glad that we are right on course.
We are a secular state. We are a secular armed forces, and it's a military, and of course the issue of cleavage of division of religion and tribe does not exist. Everybody in the army is a brother and sister. That was what we grew to know, and of course, so where there is mention of specific religion or faith, I think it's not good enough for us to.
The Defence Headquarters assures Nigerians that the military will at all times adhere strictly to standard practice and rule of engagement in carrying out its constitutional responsibilities. Police have arrested 2 alleged masterminds of the murder of the village head of Lambata in Gurara local government area of Niger State, Muhammad Abdusafur. Mukhtar reports that the suspects were arrested at the Niger State High Court premises in Minna shortly after the case was further mentioned before Senior Magistrate Court 7 in Minna.
2 suspects, the Ladi Dashi and Musa Kajima, were arrested by the police shortly after they were discharged from detention for disrupting a court proceeding. The prosecutor handling the case identified them as part of the suspects still at large and took them to the Criminal Investigation Department of the Niger State Police Command for investigation in connection with the murder of the village head of Lambata, Muhammad Abdul Safur.
And I believe himself will go to the KCID.
Meanwhile, the 12 accused persons and the other 2 earlier arraigned were produced again before the Senior Magistrate Court 7 Minna. The case was further mentioned, and the prosecution requested for more time to complete investigation and arrest other suspects still at large.
The more you investigate into criminal matters like this, the more you get to realize that some sizable number of persons are involved. So we cannot say with precision that this is the total number of accused persons that are still at large.
The Senior Magistrate Fatih Kabir granted the prosecution's request and adjourned the case to the 15th of March 2023 for further mention. In Minna, Mukhtar, NTA News.
Still on security, ahead of the 2023 general elections, the Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Zone 13, Abutu Yaro, and heads of security agencies in Enugu and Anambra States are on the drawing board to work out best policing strategies for the forthcoming general elections, given the peculiarity of security challenges in the zone. Ngozi Okekaru reports.
Few days to general election, effective policing of polling units and security for voters have become imperative. For these reasons, heads of security agencies in Enugu and Anambra states gathered in Ukbo, the Police Zone 13 headquarters, to wrap up plans on best ways to implement their strategies. The host, AIG Abutuyaro, emphasized on the need for synergy among officers and men of all security agencies in the two states. He added that they should conduct themselves properly on election days to boost confidence of voters during the process.
We decided to have this engagement in part of the processes of emplacing the relevant security framework that will enable us to have a perfect coordinated control of the election security.
He charged them to ensure effective coordination of their men for quick response in case of violent situation.
Using this forum, I want to appeal to the service commanders to help us create a more immediate platform that requires the men to take immediate action when extreme violence is taking place.
No doubt, participants are fully charged for the task ahead.
We have done all that we should do for the election, and we are expecting a free and fair election. And we believe that whatever situation, we are ready for it.
Whatever we can do to make sure that we don't cause more problem in this coming election, give people, the voters, the people at the grassroots, the confidence that they need for them to come out and vote massively.
The meeting is a reminder that days ahead require commitment and all eyes are on the security sector. From Zone 13 headquarters, Ukbo, Anambra State, Ngozi Okekaru, NTA News.
This is Nationwide on the NTA. Time now to join our Enugu Network Center, where Comfort is standing by. Hello, Comfort.
Thank you. Good afternoon and welcome to Enugu Network Center. In keeping to his administrative mandate to ensuring quality education and affordable healthcare service delivery, Enugu State Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi has officially unveiled the State University of Medical and Applied Science of Igbano. Chika Ugu reports that the governor also delivered a public lecture at the 5th Adada lecture in the institution.
It was a joyous moment for the governor, the people of Igbano, and Enugu State as he unveiled the State University of Medical and Applied Sciences, SUMAC, Igbano. The newly commissioned university was established to deepen the knowledge base of youths in the state and promote economic growth. In a public lecture titled Leadership, Education and Inclusive Development, Governor Ugwuanyi described development as a process of improving the well-being of people through quality education. He said this will guarantee job security, poverty elevation, and tackle insecurity.
Leadership is an instrument of goals achievement. One of the most widely accepted understanding of leadership is the one which says that leadership is a process of social influence, which maximizes the effort of others towards the achievement of a common goal.
Vice Chancellor Sumak, while commending the governor for making the creation of the university a reality, acknowledged that the institution will become the third medical institution in the state and will give more students the opportunity to study medicine and all the related courses.
Aside from providing opportunities for the good people of Enugu State, and indeed Nigeria, to acquire good education, the socio-economic development it will bring to the people of Enugu State can better be imagined.
The governor received the pioneer students of the university. The 5th Ada lecture series was organized by the Association of Nsukka Professors in Enugu. Chika Ugu, NTA News.
In countdown to the presidential and national assembly elections, the people of the Southeast region have been advised to shun voter apathy and participate massively in the voting process to elect their new leaders. These were the submission of stakeholders at a symposium held at the University of Nigeria, Enugu campus. Chido Grafo reports.
The symposium, organized by the Institute for Development Studies, University of Nigeria, Enugu campus, UNEC. According to the organizers, the event aimed at appealing to the academians to, on their part, sensitize their people on the need to participate actively in the forthcoming elections.
Everybody's afraid, but this kind of lecture will spur the hearts of so many people, to partake, show up interest in the coming election.
Biggest problem we have in the southeast is apathy. Our people do not want to come out, they do not want to be part of the electoral process. So we've gone to the villages, we've gone to the communities to tell them, assure them that their votes.
And former National INEC Commissioner, among other things, described issues like security, mistrust, fake news, and misinformation as likely threats to the election.
A very important aspect of the importance of security in the electoral process has to do with what I call the manipulation of security. You can manipulate security and it will affect the election and the electoral process. For example, they can over-deploy, to dissuade people from coming out, or they can under-deploy to allow favored parties to do whatever they want.
The event featured discussion section concerning the 2023 general elections as other issues were raised. In Enugu, Chidi Okrafo, NTA News.
That's a contribution from Enugu. Remember, you can follow this news broadcast live on our website at www.nta.ng/live and all our social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. We'll take another break here. Nationwide will continue with Yunusa in Maiduguri after this break. So stay with us.
Fascinated with the discourse on national monuments and assets and how much is being done to preserve and
look into the language issue. We have turned English to become like a pride value in our own cultural values.
It's not cash transfer. It's not a COVID-19.
Invasion 1897 was a deliberate
many of these people coming to the urban areas now.
And applications, there are terms and conditions.
Of course, it is the union of two people, a man and a woman coming together.
My name is Namdi Odipo.
And I'm Elizabeth Omori.
It's misery at the bottom end. Here is Lindstrom for Colin. It's by Pavlenka. It's worked out pretty nicely. There is Jensen. It's away by Kevin Prince Boateng. It's Bitter. Again, Foucault and Marvin Duksch. Oh! Outrageous from Duksch.
SportyBet sponsors coverage of the German Bundesliga.
And welcome to Maiduguri. In its continuous efforts to unravel the truth against human rights violations in the ongoing counterinsurgency operations in the Northeast, Special Independent Investigative Panel has visited Umarisho Ultra-Modern Hospital Maiduguri to receive more testimonies of medical personnel on alleged illegal abortions carried out in hospitals, as reported by Reuters. Milka Damala reports.
The Special Independent Investigative Panel, led by its chairman, Justice Abdu Aboki, has continued to receive testimonies on the Reuters report, alleging that the military has organized 10,000 illegal abortions and killing of suspected Boko Haram members' children between 2013 to 2019, and that Umaru Shehu Ultramodern Hospital is one of the facilities used to carry out the act. Appearing before the panel, former and serving medical directors of Umaru Shehu Ultramodern Hospital, Dr. Idris Ali Usman and Dr. Emmanuel Philibus, debunked the false allegations against the hospital being used for illegal abortions, stressing that it is strongly against the professional ethics. Others who testified before the panel include Head of Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology and that of Pharmaceutical Department, as well as other medical officers of the hospital, also denied the allegations, adding that no public hospital will be involved in such illegal act. They also denied the claims by Reuters on the use of some drugs on gynae patients, proving that all drugs administered to patients at the gynae ward or clinic are strictly based on doctor's prescription. In Maiduguri, Milka Namala, NTA News.
Controller General of Nigeria Immigration Service Idris Issa Jare says the service will continue to train and retrain personnel to enhance service delivery. The Controller General stated this while inaugurating Personnel Training Resource Center in Maiduguri, Borno State. Memuna Garba reports.
The Personnel Training Resource Center was jointly constructed by the Nigerian Immigration Service and International Organization for Migration to train and enhance capacity of personnel for effective service delivery. The center, equipped with modern facilities, will not only train NIS personnel but other interested sister agencies and organizations.
I urge officers and men of the Borno Command to ensure that this facility is well maintained. It is indeed intended to effect training on computer-based projects.
The initiative is part of the Nigeria Immigration Service Training Strategy Implementation Programs Phase 2 to further expand the horizon of personnel, especially in their mandate of border surveillance and containing illegal migration and trafficking, among others.
Approaching election periods, people must be conscious of their environment, should be able to alert security agencies of any infiltration of criminals so that we're able to nip any attempt by criminals to bring trouble into our country, identify those who are non-Nigerians so that we don't allow them to partake in our election process.
Borno State, because one of the states that has several dynamics, and it is important how the borders are managed.
The Controller General of Immigration Service had, while in Maiduguri, met with members of Immigration Officers' Wives Association, where he has assured to support them with their businesses. In Maiduguri, Maimuna Garba.
Also, as the size of our package from Maiduguri, News Nationwide continues with Lami Ali in Abuja.
Thank you, Yunusa. Now, the State House has issued a press release refuting claims by detractors of an interim government, beginning with the quote, Joseph Goebbels, the propaganda chief of Adolf Hitler, said, repeat a lie often enough and it becomes the truth. This was in the 1930s, before the internet was birthed. The press release makes clear and emphasizes that there is absolutely no truth to the claim that President Muhammadu Buhari is working towards an interim government for, or even worse, the truncation of democracy, which he has helped keep alive, not at home in West Africa, but throughout the continent, adding that those who peddle the false narrative are trying to create panic and the incitements of the public against the federal government at a time when all Nigerians should be united despite the temporary setbacks brought on by the currency swap, which is expected to bring progress. Calling on all citizens to be patient as any setback will surely pass, the statement assures that all and sundry and the elections coming just a week ahead will hold, and Nigerians will vote for the All Progressives Congress, APC, and any other if they so wish on the basis of their choice. Our people want progress, good governance, law and order, and will not be swayed by the negative energy that is being expended against a well-meaning currency change. Finally, the statement added that the president clearly has a favored successor in Asiwaju Bola Tinubu is not in doubt. The Joint Committee of the National Assembly on Drugs and Narcotics wants every Nigerian to spread the message against drugs abuse and illicit trafficking until the menace is brought to an end. This was during the inauguration of the FCT chapter of the National Association of Nigerian Drug Monitoring as the National Assembly. Our correspondent, Dayo Gunshala, brings us the reports.
And these people came with the guns still shooting, and they pulled out my husband, and they pulled out my 9-year-old son, and they didn't care. That was because they were under the influence of drugs. No sane human being will see what played out and still act the way they acted. And they made a way with them into the bush, and they walked for several kilometers. And needless to say, I lost my husband in the process.
A fairy tale of negative impact of drugs abuse and illicit trafficking there. The convergence of experts and concerned stakeholders here is to expand the scope of the war against the menace to reach every home.
When you raid criminal hideouts, you will arrest criminals, you will confiscate drugs, and of course you will give them, you will let those coming to those places to know that the police can come at any point in time and they equally will be arrested.
Well, we are working on a rehabilitation center. When you get them, please, we need to rehabilitate them. In the process of rehabilitation, after 1-2 months, we'll keep checking them, the level of intake, if you reduce it. After 3 months, we'll put them into scale.
The Joint National Assembly Committee on Drug Abuse and Narcotics wants the National Association of Nigerian Drug Monitoring to spread the evangelism down to every home. From the National Assembly, Dayo Gunshala, NTA News.
And the federal government is sustaining the campaign to rid Nigeria of all fake, expired and unwholesome products and ensure that only safe and regulated products are imported and sold to the people. The National Agency for Food, Drugs and Drugs Administration and Control (NAFDAC), which is driving the campaign, destroyed products worth more than 300 million naira mapped up across the North Central Zone. Victoria Ojito reports.
Standard, expired and unwholesome medicines, foods, cosmetics and chemicals mopped across the North Central Zone were burned in Lafia by the National Agency for Food, Drugs Administration and Control (NAFDAC). While some were confiscated by the agency, others were voluntarily handed by the complainant companies, non-governmental organizations and trade unions. The exercise, NAFDAC said, was to prevent their reintroduction into the distribution chain.
NAFDAC is doing everything to ensure that only safe medicines and wholesome foods of the right quality are sold to our citizens.
The agency warned traders to desist from selling substandard and expired products to consumers, as any shop found wanting will be sealed off. In order to sustain efforts at ridding the country of unwholesome substances, the agency is soliciting for further cooperation of the public through information and compliance. In Lafia, Victoria Kaswa Ojito, NTA News.
Let's now join our sports desk for an update from the world of sports.
The Flying Eagles of Nigeria observed its preparatory protocols Friday in Egypt ahead of the Under-20 AFCON scheduled to commence on Sunday with different training sessions. The team's first match is against Senegal on Sunday. In cycling, Nigeria's elite female cyclist and National Sport Festival champion Eze Ukpeseraye has qualified for the next year's 33rd Olympic Games, scheduled to hold in Paris, France, following her outstanding performance at the just concluded African Cycling Road Championship in Ghana. Eze qualified after she hit 250 points, winning gold in the elite women race. The Delta State-born cyclist beat 47 other cyclists in the 72-kilometer race with a time of 2 hours and 36 minutes. In golf, debutant Chigozie Awuna beat all other contenders to win the net prize of the 2023 Lady Captain Day Tournament of Ikoyi Club Ladies subsection after playing off handicap 35 and a net score of 69. Linda Obieze was the gross winner with handicap 14 and gross score of 87. Past captain Lola Ajibola emerged overall best in the Order of Merit event.
I didn't know it's coming. We are just playing, doing it as if nothing.
I am so excited and fulfilled.
In another news, to continue the development of the culture of long-distance running in Nigeria, about 30,000 runners across the country and beyond are expected to feature at the maiden edition of Abuja International Marathon, scheduled for April 29, 2023. Organizers of the event revealed in Lagos that the race will be in 3 categories.
From a primary and secondary school level, teaching them about healthy lifestyle.
And I can assure you that all the requirements are there.
The full marathon, which will see the runners take off from the city gate and terminate at the Eagle Square. With sports update, Olumide Guntola, NTA News.
And that's nationwide. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to join the NTA in the campaign against rape and rapists.